Look, you were talking earlier about the cartoons, the caricatures, the scary caricatures. I mean, I've written a book about the Nazi war crime trials and the Holocaust. I know the anti-Semitic images that were popular not only in Nazi Germany, but also images that were, widespread even in this country.
Hmm.
So the idea that there's fear of the other, particularly the darker skinned other, this has been a part of our history for, as you say, since the beginning. Uh, so, uh, but when we're talking about refugees and maybe even immigration overall, um, there is a valid argument to the notion that we don't have a wide open border. We don't have an unlimited um, uh, we don't have unlimited resources to take in as many people as actually
Hmm.
want to come here. And there are many, many, many more people who want to come here than we can possibly take in. I mean, that's economics. That's reality. We're no longer expanding westward. We don't any longer have an industrial revolution where we need millions of people to work in on the line in factories. We just don't have that economy anymore. So how do we? You've got on the one extreme, it seems, this rhetoric, as you say, about extreme vetting, which may get votes, which may tap into people's fears. Um, on the other hand, you have this history of an open armed nation.
Hmm.
The Statue of Liberty itself, a symbol for so much. Somewhere in there, between those 2 points, seems like the balance. How do we know how to strike that balance?
Well, I think that there's multiple approaches to this, Aaron. Number one, I will tell you that our nation and every other nation that prides itself as being a place of refuge, a nation that offers refuge to the needed, doesn't offer that refuge for economic reasons. There are other values beyond
That's
economics
an important point.
for
Yeah.
which we welcome folks who find themselves in horrible circumstances elsewhere. You've got very talented, very skilled, very smart people who are living in horrible conditions. And even if these folks may not have great preparation, they may not have high education,
Hmm.
they certainly, like most of the people you will meet in your life, all they want to do is to provide a good life for their family. They want to make sure, first and foremost, that their children are safe. They want to make sure that their spouse is safe. They want to make sure that their parents are safe. And one of the things that's wonderful about our country, and I put this as perhaps the single most important and distinguishing factor of the United States over almost every other nation, is that we are a nation of ideas. And frankly, perhaps the most wonderful thing about living here is the fact that we are exposed to people from many different backgrounds, from many different cultural and religious backgrounds,
Hmm.
who've been brought up in different ways. And we see them every day in our workplace, and we see them every day on the street. And what makes this absolutely wonderful is the fact that you and I are the same, and you and everyone else that we run into on the street are the same. We are equally American, we are equally hardworking, and if we commit to doing to working hard, we should be afforded equal opportunities in this country.
You know, your organization, HIAS, you know, I imagine went through some very trying times when um, the numbers of Jewish immigrants to this country was limited and during very dangerous times in the 1930s and 1940s. I mean, whole boatloads of Jewish refugees looking to escape the concentration camps, the death camps in Eastern Europe, were sent back to face certain death rather than being taken in this country. The parallels to what's happening in Syria where if we turn away people who are looking to escape Syria, we may be similarly actually condemning them to death. And similarly, and we've said this now, we circled back to this point a few times. There has been this nativist fear in this country of the darker skinned other, the Jew, the Mexican,
Don't forget the Italian.
the African, Italian. You know, um, we have that so deep in our history, and so but in these times, there's that. There is that fear of the darker skinned other. I'm thinking of our Muslim, those coming from Muslim countries, but it's overlaid with this 9/11, this sort of post 9/11 fear that we have, that we all live with every day, this fear of another terrorist attack. And that we associate that with people who've come from, indeed, these acts have been associated with those who've come from some of those countries. So, on the one hand, I think you can see the connections through our history, but on the other hand, is there an argument here that we are in some kind of a different time because of the fears and the real risks and threats that we face in terms of terrorism?